Got a girl named Ashley who went out with this guy thinking that he was single, but he ended up being a fiance. There were 4 people in the freaking family, yet she was all alone. She didn't know, and that was weird until she went to his house and he told her she was coming home and she got
out. All right, y'all. Let me just get into this video. Okay, so story times are a big thing on this YouTube, and I really like them. Like, I personally love watching these story times. So I thought that I would put one of my stories into a video and tell y'all a little bit about my life. Because I realized I don't really tell you guys, like you see in my vlogs, but I don't actually tell you the story. And I thought that I would tell you one. And so this is the first one I'm gonna tell you guys. Without further ado, let's just get on to it. I don't know why I chose this story to be like one of the first story time videos that I'm doing, but I just kind of thought that I would just sit down and just tell you. I don't know, it was the first one that came to mind. I went out with this guy, and I'm gonna tell you guys, like, I don't know what to name him. Let's name him like Bob. If I ever use his name, that's what it is. Okay, so he was a trainer at the gym, and I saw him there before, and like he was like this big masculine, like macho looking man. Like he was like really short though, like a little bit taller than me, but like his muscles were like the Hulk. I guess I can't even. So I was like, I always worked out, and he told me like the first time I met him, he's like, oh, I just moved here. Are there any other places that we can like, you know, go and that I can go? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, I would love to train you and your sisters. This was like 2 years ago, like I think that I met him, but he was like, I love to train you and your sister. And I'm like, okay, because he saw us working out really hard, and he's like, you know, for free, kind of, you know, not really paying. And I was like, okay, you know, that'd be kind of cool. So he gave me his like card. He didn't give me like, he didn't ask for my number, but he just gave me his card. And then I always saw him at the gym after that. I didn't end up calling him because I kind of felt like a little awkward, because he's like, oh yeah, we could just kind of like, you know, trade like information and like see each other around the gym, you know. And like, so I was like, okay, I don't know if he wants to like go out. I just kind of like and then I saw him around the gym, right? He's like, I didn't see him for like so long, and then he just comes over and he's like, you didn't call me. I'm like, okay. So he's like, I really want to get your number. Okay, I'm like, okay, I'll give you my number. He's like, okay. I gave him my number. He like texted me, he's like, oh, it was so nice seeing you, beautiful. Like then he started to really flirt with me. Let alone, I did not know how old this guy was. I thought he was like 40, but then he ends up telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I'm 30. And then so then he texts me, he's like, you know, I would really like to take you out. I'm like, okay, you know, obviously the training thing was maybe like a ploy to kind of like get to take me out. I'm like, you know what, I might as well just try it. So turns out Ashley over here wanted to do some research. So she researched him before she went on this date, because like obviously he's a trainer there, but I'm like, okay. So he used to be a bodybuilder. I like found it all out. I didn't find that he went to jail, but I asked him if he went to jail, because that's like another thing that I always ask people is if they've been to jail, yada yada. Let's go out on a date. He's like, okay, meet me at this like bar. We went and got a drink. Okay, I don't drink, like barely. To this bar, he's like asking me, when are you gonna be there? It's gonna be at the certain time. And I was like, oh cute. I came after work, like after I was done teaching, and I was like, yeah, he was still in his training outfit. I come, and it was really awkward because he was like talking to this other lady. She was like an older lady, and they're talking about training. We get a drink, and he's like so fidgety. So he's like, what do you want? And so I got myself a drink. It was like a wine or whatever. He already drank like 3 different drinks, but he's like a big guy, so he like was totally like still kind of there. So then I like talk to him, and like I ask him all these questions, and he doesn't really ask about me, and it's really awkward. I'm like trying to get to know this guy and like say, you know, how long have you like been training, like what got you into it? And he's like, he's from Florida and he moved here. It turns out he told me he was married before, and I was like, okay. And he has a kid. Like, okay, so he's not married anymore, supposedly. And then he's here. I'm like, okay, that's cool, you know, and he redoes cars and all this bull crap. Okay, so we get to that, and he's telling me, you know, about his skincare routine, how he goes and gets spray tans, how he gets Botox, and how he gets his eyebrows threaded. Yeah, I'm turning 31. I really want you to come to my birthday party at my house. I'm like, okay, that'd be really cool, because he just got this new house and he's like redoing it, and like that's a huge house just for yourself, because it was like 5,300 square feet and it's just him for being a bachelor. I'm like, okay, well, you know, maybe, yeah, I'd love to come to your place. Meanwhile, I'm sitting at this bar with him. He had to get up like 3 different times because his phone kept ringing, and he walked out. I'm like, this is suspicious. Like, this dude has to have like another chick. He has to have another chick. And so I was like trying to ask him all these questions. He's like, I feel like you're my therapist. Like, we ask all this stuff. I'm just like, okay, you know, just like sitting there. So then at the end of the night, like, it was like so fast because he came back. We were only there for like 45 minutes and he's like, I gotta go. Awkward because he kept like going on his phone and I was like making a joke. I'm like, yeah, your other woman's calling. He's like, huh, yeah, she is. He's like, I gotta go, bye. And then, so then he left. It was really awkward. Or no, he texted me while he was driving home and like we drove the same way. And so he kind of saw where I like lived. And I was so awkward. Okay, so then he asks me and Allie another time, like a little bit, like a week later. He's like, hey, come to my new house. I really want to show it to you guys. It's like before, like he just kind of like moved in. He's like, another trainer is gonna be there and Allie will like be really cute with him. And I knew that the other trainer had a girlfriend. And I was like, okay, so he just wants to use Allie as a side piece. And then I'm like, but it's okay. It could just be friends. We could just all hang out, yada, yada. I go to his house and Allie and I went there this one like night. And it was so awkward because the other trainer didn't show up. So it's me and this dude, Bob, and Allie. And so awkward. And we come through, he takes us through his basement. There's nothing in the basement. There's like a sauna because we're just sitting there and like playing pool. All he had in the basement was a pool table. And he's like, I would love to take you upstairs. But I'm like, but what? Because I did some more research on him and I thought I found like he had like a girlfriend. And I was like, oh my gosh, he has a girlfriend. So I'm trying to get it out of him. And then he ends up telling me that we're there and he's like, oh, my lady's gonna come home. You guys have to leave. And he told me that it was his woman. He had another woman. Not only was it just a woman, mind you, it was his fiance. Fiance. And I'm just like, what? You're telling me you have a fiance? Like, and what do you want to do to me? And he's trying to still flirt with me after he told me that he has a fiance. And then I just tried to ask him all these questions. And he's like, oh, I'm trying to let it dissolve. Like, all of this stuff. I'm like, yeah, right. Oh my gosh. It was so awkward. And then, like, he had these text messages from me and him. Like, I'm just going to, like, break down the story. He ended up rushing Allie and I out. It was so awkward. And he's like, yeah, my lady's gonna come home. And like, we bolted out there. I'm like, I do not want to deal with the woman who lives there. Meanwhile, she has her kid upstairs that's not even his, but he's like living with her. And I'm just like, this is just too much for the good old Ashley brain. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, but you can't do this, Bob. Like, you have another woman. Like, and he's like, I feel like you're my therapist. I said, I don't want to get between that. Nope. Maybe if you guys ever break up, you know, maybe we can try it again. But I don't want to be involved in that. No, thank you. Yeah, on my way home, like right when I left, he's like, I had a really nice time because his woman was coming home. But then his woman starts to think, she was home and she was telling me that she was like getting hints that like she was talking to somebody else. So the one day I think that he came home, I don't remember what day it was or whatever, maybe it was the day that I was there with him. She said that let me go through your phone because she felt so suspicious. So what he did was like, he told me he like dropped it and it cracked on the floor. So now, meanwhile, you know, he still wants to talk to me. So he calls me from gym number. Okay, calls me from the gym number and leaves these voicemails on my phone. I mean, he was really sweet, but it was so awkward because he had somebody else. It was so awkward. And then he's like, call me back. And then I was like, I'm just gonna call him back just to see. I know you guys probably think of this naive chick, but I don't know. I was just calling back just to see, like, try to say to him, like, what happened, you know, yada. I'm like, maybe I could just be a friend of his because he didn't really look like he looked like he needed help. Like, I feel so bad for this dude. She was technically married still to a guy, but yet was his fiance and he was living with her. I was just like, this whole thing is so much for my brain. Anyway, so he's still trying to call me, still wanted to ask me out, still wanted to see me from the phone at the gym in his office. And I always had to, like, if I called him, like I called him this one time, I had to go through the gym to get to him. Really awkward. He really still wanted to go out with me. I said, you know, Bob, I really can't be in this right now. I don't want to be involved. I just think, you know, if I'll be your friend, but if it dissolves, like, then you can talk to me later. Like, I was really trying to give him hints, but he still kept trying to call me, so then I just stopped talking to him. The point of the story is I now ask every single person that I talk to, have you been married before? Do you have a fiance? Do you have any kids? Do you have a wife? Have you been in jail? Like, those are all my questions that I ask because I've dated a dad before and he was so sweet. That's a whole different story. But this one he was just a little over the top. Anyway, the moral of the story is, ladies, ask before you are out. Like, I just assumed because he said that he's told me he was single, but I did my research. I just thought I would conclude that, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this story time video. It was kind of like interesting. I have so many more stories that I really want to tell you guys, and I'm just gonna like start to put them out there. If you guys like them, thumbs up this video. Tell me if you have ever been in an experience like mine, and list it down below. I didn't know that he had a fiance, so I'm not that kind of chick. Thank you for watching, and if you have dated any weird dudes or been on a date with a weird dude, tell me your experience down below. What is the weirdest guy that you've probably been out with, or one of the weirdest experiences? Tell me down below in the crotch area, and I would love to know because this was one of mine. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Teeter totter, hitter hotter. I just made that up. I'm wearing a Victoria's Secret shirt. Booyah. I love y'all. And I'll see you later.